were lovers. Or, in our case, had recently been lovers. It sounded like a nifty idea, until you learned the catch. The spell wasn't really about power sharing. That was just a byproduct. It was about soul sharing, linking you to someone else at the deepest level. Which also didn't sound too bad. Until you realized, at that level of connectedness, when one of you died, you both did. Yeah, I wasn't a fan. People had been trying to kill me ever since I got this job, because we were at war, and a Pythia was a formidable opponent, especially a young Pythia who wasn't frail and half dead from poison like the last. And then completely dead, because they'd gotten Agnes in the end, despite the fact that she was as wily as they came. But they hadn't gotten me. Only they didn't have to, because my ex-boyfriend was going to take care of that for them, risking his own neck along with mine and Pritkin's too. Pritkin was my current lover, which roped him into the enchantment as well, and explained why he was here. He was afraid that Mircea was going to get us all killed, because the spell was just fine with ménage à trois. Unfortunately, Pritkin wasn't. I'd tried to play peacemaker by pointing out that the spell wasn't a problem right now, since Mircea had had it removed, and had sworn never to have it cast again, in exchange for me taking him on this one last mission through time. Assuming we survived, that was. That last thought must have occurred to Pritkin too, because my attempts at diplomacy had not been well received. The tension had been a little thick in the carriage as a result, and it didn't look like things were improving. Mircea's expression had turned dark and scowly, and his nose was twitching. I surreptitiously sniffed myself, wondering if my panicked sweat had broken through the rose-scented perfume I was wearing. But seriously, who could tell? All I could pick up was cold and hoarse, and I couldn't see anything huddled under my heavy fur blanket, or talk without possibly being overheard by the dozens of carriages around us. So I stood up too. Another gust of freezing wind hit, making me shiver and causing our horses to do another jig across the slick, icy stones. But this time I barely noticed. This time, I was riveted by something even scarier than a plunge into the void. Shit. Two figures stood at the end of the death trap of a causeway, in long dark cloaks that billowed out on the winds like banners on the castle ramparts above. If they were trying to look human, it wasn't working. For one thing, they dwarfed the guy that they'd just snatched off a coach box, and for another, one of them had turned him upside down, holding him easily by one leg and shaking him until the knives hidden about his person fell out and rattled against the stones. 7 feet tall, super strong, and with long silver hair that whipped in the wind when one of their hoods fell back. Shit. I guess Pritkin felt the same, because the howling of the wind, the creaking of the carriage wheels, and the whinnying of the horses abruptly cut out when he threw a silence spell around us.
"Son of a bitch!"
he snarled, turning around, and Mircea shot him a warning glance.
"They can still see you,"
he said, talking about the vamps in the other carriages, I assumed.
"Like I give a damn! We aren't getting in there!"
We are. It was implacable. What are the Fae doing here? I asked, trying to avoid a fight, possibly literally.
"Checking every carriage,"
Pritkin snapped.
"And I'm part Fae. Which is why you shouldn't have come,"
Mircea said flatly. Pritkin's eyes narrowed, taking on a color closer to the turbulent, icy water below.
"Which is why you need me. I've dealt with the Fae before." "And how many men did you lose?"
Pritkin asked sweetly. Because sure, this was the time to poke the bear. "Can we stay on target?" I asked. We were only 3 carriages away.